team because I was looking at fantasy baseball when we should be worrying about Atlanta United being down one man and no goalkeeper for round 2.
That doesn't matter. We're winning.
Nah, it doesn't matter. You're winning. But whatever, because we're back for season 2, episode 7. Look at that. Didn't even move the other hand. Look at that. I'm really good at this. Season 2, episode 7 of the Designated Players podcast, where it is predictions day. When this comes out, it will be the 14th, which will be 2 days before, or 3 days before opening kickoff of the MLS season. Oh man, or no, it'll be 2
wild.
days. That's right. Yeah, how crazy is that? We've waited so long for this stuff to come back, and here we are. We have made it. We're back. What are you most looking forward to?
I'm most looking forward to getting some regularity back in all sports. I mean, not just MLS, but I feel like a lot of people kind of just wrote off last year and were just like, it's a weird year, whatever. Now that excuse kind of doesn't hold any weight anymore because things are starting to go back to normal. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing a little bit more regularity with the league and the teams, hopefully. And hopefully, I'm still hoping that some of the people that surprised us last year and broke out continue to perform this year.
I mean, that's how you know you haven't been watching this league for too long. Because when somebody asks me what am I most looking forward to in the MLS season, it is like I can't wait to watch Chris Wondolowski score 9 goals on 3 touches this year. That's what I'm looking forward to. Because that is what this league is.
You're looking forward to complaining about that. You're not looking forward to that happening.
Oh, man. No, I'm looking forward to it happening. I love Wando. As long as he's not wearing the red, white, and blue, I love Wando. And we're not going there. We don't have
I'm not. I don't need to hear the tangent. Heard it enough.
Yeah, I know. And everybody else has too. But here we are, episode 7 of season 2, minus one host. He knew. I think I beat him up too much last week. I don't know if he's sick or if he's just afraid of getting yelled at again because I beat him up pretty bad last week. No, Adam is sick with a fever and a cough or whatever. But in his honor, quote of the week remains Adam, you idiot, because I would have yelled at him today anyway. We all know that. But 2021 predictions are here. Eastern Conference, Western Conference, bold predictions, end of year predictions, and our week 1 little mini roundup and predictions for that as well. So, I'm excited. But before we go into any of that, there's always one thing we got to do, and it's scarf of the week. And Connor, you look like you got that color looks kind of funny. Is it because of the camera? You got something cool?
No, I think the camera's normal now. It's not looking green on my screen at least. But I'm a little disappointed because I was bringing this out, and of course, we're missing our resident Inter Miami fan the day I bring out the Inter Miami scarf. So
I think that's got to be my next purchase.
I mean, the design on this scarf isn't really anything special, but I love the colors that Miami has. Yeah. The black and the pink is awesome.
Yeah, if only they did something good with their jerseys.
What do you mean? They do a white jersey just like everybody else.
Yeah. The second of my 2 mystery scarves, and it doesn't actually have a name on it, but it has the logo here is AS Monaco from France, and it says unique forever on both sides. This is a really cool logo on the side. I love mystery scarves, like literally top 3 favorite things of all time. I'm a collector, right? I love unique, cool things, and this is definitely one of them. So if you're into that type of stuff, I know they're not MLS themed, but eventually one day we'll get to that point. But I think Inter Miami is my next purchase because I'm trying to round out our interviews from last year and getting a scarf for each one. And yeah, they're definitely it. So that's just exciting. We are 2 days away from starting, when you guys are listening to this, from starting the season off with a barn burner of a game. Houston versus San Jose, because that's how you want to start off the MLS season. You got Austin coming in with brand new players. You've got, Atlanta with Yosef back. You've got Orlando with Pato. You've got LAFC with all their players, Seattle with all their players. But you know who we need to watch?
Tim Parker.
Tim Parker versus Chris Wondolowski. That's what we're watching. Oh, man. I need to be in the room where it happens, man. When they make this schedule, I just want to right there. That's what I want to say. Because they have to sit there and be like, man, how do we draw the most people to the first game, get them hooked for the whole season, or at least half the season? Houston versus San Jose. That's right.
Listen, all right. So I'm gonna make a case for this not being as bad as you think it is, because I think this game will be extremely messy. Well, maybe. Okay, I don't want to say for sure, but first game back with these two teams and how they performed last year, this game could be very messy. It could have a lot of goals, which would evidently bring in a lot of people. Because if this is like a 3-4 game, doesn't matter what the quality is. That's always exciting.
Sure, but it also could go the exact opposite way. Every time the ball switches field or go under somebody's foot, it goes out of bounds. There's 0% possession in the attacking third on either side, and it ends 0-0. Could do that too.
I prefer to take the optimistic approach.
Yeah, you and me both. So let's start with Houston versus San Jose. What are you most looking forward to in this game that's going to be 4-3 and screamers?
Yeah, I would say generally I'm most looking forward to this being the first game of the season, just getting back into things. But also interested to see new look Houston. A lot of changes with the team. Interested to see how they line up, who's going to start, who's not going to start. Are things going to start to click immediately? Is there going to be a little bit of a rough patch trying to get some chemistry together? So I think generally I'm looking more so on the Houston side as opposed to looking at things on the San Jose side. Maybe for the San Jose side, I'd be interested to see if Cade Cowell gets some minutes, because I'd be excited to see him get some game time this year.
Yeah, he got a little bit last year, but if he gets slid into more of a starting role and actually produces in that role, right? Me personally, I'm interested to see the impact of Corona on Houston, and not COVID Corona, just Joe Corona. The center midfield that's supposed to tie everything together, because that's been a weak point for them, is that center mid spot for a long time. So I'm excited to see what he brings and how it connects the much improved back line with still a relatively solid attack. I'm hoping he is that connecting piece for them, so Texas can actually, have a team to root for. Outside of Austin, if you're going to pick Austin, right?
Every episode, huh? Every episode.
You have to. You can't tell me. How did they sell somebody for $1 million I've never heard of before?
Listen,
how's that happen?
You're talking so much about them that you're almost talking them into relevancy. At least in your mind. I will acknowledge their existence, but in your case, you were talking about them so much, I almost think you have to consider them relevant.
No, they're not. I guess we can go. You want to do predictions here, like at the end of each? No, we'll do predictions at the very, very end.
Yeah.
Weekly predictions at the very, very end. But no, like I said, not a super thrilling first game. But you're right. The first game of the season is always something to look forward to.
Yeah, it'd be just nice to see some Major League Soccer games again.
I remember the first time I watch a regular season MLS game, it just feels different, because usually I haven't this year, but I watch a lot of preseason usually, and it's kind of like, oh, this is exciting. I know these players. I watch it, but I haven't seen any. One, because a lot of it hasn't been televised, because Red Bull didn't go to the Houston or the Tucson Cup this year in Arizona. So nothing that they did was televised. If they played at all, they had a whole bunch canceled, right? But I haven't seen anything, and I'm not watching the Champions League right now either, right? We're here, and I was coaching during the Portland game, but I'm excited because you finally get to settle in, and it's like watching the first game of the MLB season, right? I watched that yesterday, and it was like, oh, we're back. This is really cool. And we won't go into details on which team I support or how they blow leads in the eighth with the greatest pitcher in baseball. we're not going to go into it because that's not the type of podcast we are.
I think you've said enough already.
Idiots! I can't believe they did that. We move on to
I can believe it.
we move
All
on
right.
to Friday's second game because we're not going to dive into that. You think my Red Bull cutaways are bad? Get ready for what is it? Lupa?
It was Loop.
Lupo?
Loops.
Loops.
Loop.
That man needs to go straight to the sun. Ed Luz Diaz has a seat right next to him. He's going right there.
Listen, I don't want to go too much on the tangent, but I'm not gonna fully blame him because Trevor May was the one that put him in a bad situation to
You're
start
right.
with.
You're right. It's Trevor May's fault. They both can go.
It's yeah.
The Rockets going to be really big this year, I think. Just give me back Pounders, man. Pounders or die.
Seattle, Minnesota.
Seattle, Minnesota. Man, this is two completely changed teams. And I know, so for those of anybody who's listening, and I've already assumed that nobody from Minnesota is listening because I've read it multiple times that they're basically boycotting the podcast because we said some bad things about them. But they're a new look side, right? And whether it be that Molino was one of their best players and left or chose to leave or however it may be, a guy who basically carried you through the playoffs into the next the conference final is not there anymore. So how do you fill that hole? It's obviously going to be there. But on the flip side, right? Seattle, what is Seattle going to be without Jordan Morris? So those are the two things that I'm excited to watch. Just because they were so big in the way that they played last year and such a big part of their success that once they leave, you have to kind of almost work around that. And I'm excited to see how they do that, just from a coaching standpoint, from a tactics standpoint, because as we've proven on the whiteboard, I am a tactics and formation nerd, and I like to see that type of stuff. So it will be very interesting to me, and I almost kind of want to live stream that game. But I'll be in Cincinnati, so if we do, we got to do it like we got to make that decision quick because I'll need to get up there in time for it. But anyways, what are you looking forward to?
So we'll have our more in-depth Minnesota chat later after we go through the standings because I've had somewhat of a change of thought on them, but I actually feel like people, at least for me, when I was first looking at this on our notes, I was kind of overlooking the fact that this is a rematch of the conference final from the playoffs last year, like an amazing conference final, one of the best games
right.
I've seen.
Oh yeah.
So I'm really interested to see a rematch of this.
I remember the clip from when Gustav Svensson scored that goal and we're just sitting there like, oh my God, no way.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, because I think it was like Rui Diaz and Svensson scored in stoppage time to win it for Seattle.
I remember that because we were sitting there and we're talking like we were live streaming that game or something.
Yeah, we were.
And it was like we were sitting there, we're like, oh no, they've gone even. We got to go to extra time. And then we were all just screaming like, no, he didn't.
Yeah, so I'm really interested to see how hungry Minnesota is to get some revenge here. And without JMO, I think revenge is definitely on the cards. I understand that Minnesota lost a couple of key guys as well, but I think that if they
you're not allowed to call them key guys because they weren't actually key guys according to the Minnesota Reddit. They were just
we'll get into that later.
They were good players.
We'll get into that later. But I think that should still be pretty fresh in their mind. I don't think it happens long enough ago that they could like reasonably completely forget about this. So I'm thinking a lot of these Minnesota guys, they were there for that last year. They're going to come out, they're going to come hungry, and they're going to try to take it to Seattle and get some revenge.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I think this might be something where they kind of just don't go all out, and I don't know why, but I just feel like the it won't be as like playoff ground and pound, but I hope it is, right? I hope it is.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to mention Adam mentioned a look at Iko Parr if he's back in the lineup, which I think is also a thing to look out for this game, because if he does get the game time, We know what Opar is capable of. Um, I am very curious to see if he's breaking into that back line because I know Boxall and Dabasi were very solid for them last year, and I don't know if they would want to break that up. But I mean, what do you think on that one? Do you think they kind of are happy with that and take it a little bit slower with Ike and bringing him back? Do you think that they just throw him right back into the lineup? I mean, this was a two-time defender of the year.
I don't think they have a need to do it right now. I think the two that they have, he might at this point, because they said he's been battling concussions, and that's not something you mess around with, right? So I think
Definitely not.
they might put him in as a almost as a, I don't want to say like I, I want to I don't know the correct word for it. I think it's like a special player, right? Like
Like a specialist?
yeah, like a close the game out specialist type of guy.
Okay.
Um, like you're up one with 5 minutes left. You put the one of the best aerial attacks of in league history on the field. Um,
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially if there's like a late set piece from Seattle or something. Yeah, I think if this game ends up being a blowout in either direction, you consider throwing him in there and getting him some minutes where there's not really any pressure to like perform. But
right, yeah, that's definitely you're obviously going to see that if it gets to that point. I doubt it does,
yeah, I
but
think this will be a close game.
yeah, I am hoping I get to see him, right? Because I missed watching him play. He was so strong there. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
this just is gonna feel weird. I think it's gonna feel like, because you, like you said, you're expecting a ton out of this conference final matchup. It just feels like it might not be.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, there's only one way to find out, right?
Just gotta watch, wait and watch.
That's right. Look at you learning things.
Yeah, that's why I'm not on the
Um,
whiteboard.
um, yeah, but there's only one way to find out. We'll watch, and we'll watch that on Friday. Then we move into Saturday, where we've got some really great matchups. Uh, the Canadian Classique, Montreal versus Toronto. Two brand new head coaches. That's about it that I can really highlight. What am I looking forward to? The debut of Chris Armas, of course. Can he possibly mess up a team that was already set up for success? The answer is yes, but how badly will he do
Oh, I can't wait to wait and find out.
it?
I mean, we already heard some of the rumors, right? Michael Bradley moving up the field.
So somebody put out a flow chart for this is the where those comments coming from. Somebody put out a flow chart about which team you should support in MLS this year. And the flow chart ended with saying, if you're from Canada, do you like hearing something like dump and chase or something like that? And the other branch was, hey, Michael, how do you feel about playing a little bit higher up the field this year? And that was Toronto, which means somebody at some point heard Chris Armas ask Michael Bradley if he wanted to play in the 10 position, which would, I think it might be the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. And it needs to happen. But man, I would love, like, when we talk about how badly could they mess it up, that is like peak bad. It doesn't get worse than that. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, maybe that quote was just on there as like a joke.
It had
Maybe
to
that
be, right?
maybe I never was. Okay, but like assuming that's a real quote, right? That reminds me a lot of when Dax was at DC and Benny played him as a cam.
Yep.
It gives me that vibe a lot. Granted, Michael Bradley is not nearly as young as Dax was at the time, which could possibly be even worse. I mean, but yeah, it's giving me some Benny Ball vibes if that's true. In which case, you're right. Benny Ball doesn't die.
Send it.
It
Benny
just
Ball never dies. Send
it
it,
just
send it, send
passes
it.
on to Chris Armas.
Oh man, Benny Ball never dies. That is the phrase of I think I might get that tattooed somewhere. I don't know where,
We should get a
but
scarf
we
and a
should. Yes.
designated player scarf. It says Benny Ball never dies on one of the sides of the scarf.
I say so. It'd be the DP pod. Benny Ball never dies. Absolutely here for it. What are you looking for here? I think Adam says he's looking for the who's starting up top, Akinola versus Josie. I think it's got to be Io Akinola, right? If he's healthy, because Josie is tearing his hamstring every time he tweets at Taylor Twellman.
Yeah, I'm thinking Io's probably going to get the start there. I think it's a good opportunity for him to continue to showcase his talents and continue to work towards getting that typical young MLS European move, because I feel like he's right in line with the rest of the guys to do that same thing. I mean, he put his name on the map last year, and now is a golden opportunity for him. Feels like he's kind of earned that chance to start for them, and now if he continues to perform like he did last year, he's going to just continue to broaden his reputation and then just continue to move towards a move to Europe. And that would be good for both Toronto and for Io. So I think that's the way they got to go. But it's Chris Armas, so who knows?
Well, no, that's it. Chris Armas loves playing the kids, so that's your answer right there.
All right, there you go.
All right. What are you looking forward to?
So I'm looking forward to seeing or maybe the better way is how Montreal are going to rebound after losing Henry, what felt like kind of late into the offseason. I mean, maybe I was wrong. It feels like it was just recently that Henry stepped away.
It was a little bit ago, but it's still close enough to the season where you have to kind of worry, right? You have to have some sort of feeling in your stomach like, this isn't good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, this isn't like we fired this guy at the end of the season. We're already starting to look for replacements even before we got rid of him. I mean, this just happened all of a sudden in like the middle of the off season. There's not a lot of time to find the replacement, and then for the replacement to kind of come in and possibly bring in like a new style of play, a new system, or I mean, I don't remember exactly who took over. I think we looked this up before.
Wilfred Nancy.
Was he on the coaching staff before?
He was.
Okay, so maybe they'll still be looking to play the same way that Henry was setting them up. So that might not be as big of an issue in terms of like switching to a new system. But you still, I mean, you were playing under Thierry Henry. I mean, that's got to be a huge motivating factor for a lot of these guys. So now you lose that factor. Is that going to affect the players? I don't know. Are they going to be able to rebound with a new coach and just kind of like seamlessly move in the same direction that they were going? I think eventually they will, but you got to figure there's going to be some kind of a little bit of a hiccup, maybe a little bit of a slowing down of that progress. But that's what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see, will Montreal just come out blazing anyway?
Yeah. I like I said, I wasn't sold on Montreal to begin with the season. I was excited to see Henry start building his team, but I just wasn't sold on a lot of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Now that throw this in there and it's kind of like, So just like I said, here's the kicker I'll have for this game. If you've been in Montreal for more than 3 minutes, you know how to get up for this game. They never roll over in this game. It's always a barn burner. It's always a big score fest because they know what it means. And especially having a coach who's been there for so long, he knows what it means too. So he might have them ready to go. But for the rest of the season, for long term, that's definitely a question. They just got to buy into what he's saying, and this is a big thing for any team with any new manager, right? If he's putting something out there you don't necessarily agree with, just do it, and you'll figure it out after. You're a little too late to start playing semantics here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So definitely going to be watching that one. It looks like a really good one as long as I'm around for it. And then we move into Orlando, Atlanta, another great competition here.
Are they just like starting off with like
It's
rivals
got to be
week?
like rivalry week part one.
Yeah, I mean it's like half these teams are rivalry teams that are
Yeah, I
just
mean
playing in the first
Houston,
week.
San Jose,
Yeah,
Dallas, Colorado. My goodness.
Montreal, Toronto, Orlando, Atlanta. I mean, listen, that's not a bad idea. I mean, that's a good way to grab people's attention from the start. So I'm not against it.
I mean, we just saw so much of it last year, right? When they were all kept in their bubbles. We just saw so much of the same teams over and over and over again, which is fine. Which is fine. But what are you looking forward to, man? This is your first. I mean, really, this is gonna be the first time you watch them play, unless you watch them play the second round of CCL, right?
Yeah. One thing to note, Atlanta did officially win that game 1-0. That
Did
is
they really?
that's a fantastic result for them.
A team that hasn't lost in 17 games, you go down a man at the start of the second half and hold on and
Yeah.
score when you're a man down.
Yes, we go to take the lead while having a man down and hold on and win. That's a fantastic result. I know, if you kind of are new to CONCACAF, you're probably looking at that result like Atlanta couldn't beat a Costa Rican team more than 1-0, but they're
CONCACAF.
away in Costa Rica, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
And that is never easy. I mean, you go ask any team that's played against Saprissa. That is not easy. And to go in there, go a man down, and then grab a goal, an away goal, and the win, that's a fantastic result. And that's a great start for Hines. Which
Absolutely.
segue, that's what I'm excited for this opening game is Hines' debut first MLS game. I know it
In
won't be
MLS, yeah.
yeah, it won't be technically his first game because he's CONCACAF, but I'm excited to see his first game in
A
the league.
very well earned CONCACAF berth, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, easily.
I
I
mean,
mean, back to
how
back US
else
Open.
do you they always give it to MLS Cup, Supporter Shield, um,
US Open Cup.
Open Cup, and team who finishes third to last in the league every year. So really good job on their part.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Anyways.
not gonna, but regardless, I'm excited to see what he's gonna do in the league. I have high hopes for him. This doesn't feel like a Frank De Boer signing. This feels more like a Tata Martino signing
Yep.
at manager, and that's where we had our success. I mean, Tata was fantastic with us. I feel like this team could even be more talented than the team that Tata had, and now you're moving towards that route again. I mean, I don't want to, get my hopes up too high because there's definitely going to be some learning curves here, building chemistry, figuring out what formation works. But I'm really excited to see this team this year. I mean, they brought in a few new faces. I like the new people that they brought in. I feel like they brought in the guys that will fit Hines well. So I'm really excited to see how he lines them up for the debut, and excited to see if he decides to play Yosef.
Yeah.
Um,
Other
he did,
segue.
yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. He was not starting tonight. I'm just about to check. He came
He
off the
did. He
bench.
came in.
Yeah. So taking it slow with him, which I think is the right way to go. Don't rush this. There's really no reason to rush this. It's a long season. It's I'd rather them take their time, either start Lissandro Lopez up top or Eric Lopez, and just kind of slowly work Joseph back in. So I would probably expect to maybe not see him start. Maybe he will. I don't really know, but that's certainly something to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be good to see him back. Whether he starts, plays 15 minutes, it's just going to be good to see him back on a field again.
Agreed.
Now, the other thing is we're actually going to see the best striker in MLS this year also play in Alexander Pato. So you're going to have the first and second best strikers in the league playing on the same field at the same time. That's always exciting. But I'm waiting for him to drop a brace on you so that you can formally apologize. I want a tweet put out from the podcast account saying, I, at Connor Wright, apologize to me, at Andrew Barnacle, or whatever our tags are, for the utter disrespect shown to Alexander Pato, because in just 90 minutes, he's already made me look a fool.
I'm not doing it after one game, but I'll tell you what, if he has a strong season, we'll work out the number, semantics, whatever we want to set as like considering a strong season. If he has a strong season, I will do that. I will say it in an episode, and then I will do the tweet as well.
And get a Pato jersey.
What about an Orlando scarf?
Okay. I'll go 50-50. I'll go on the scarf.
Okay.
Good. Deal. No, I'm excited to see him get back or not get back, but get into it. We all know my thoughts on his addition into a team that is already fantastic up top. I can't wait to see what they are able to pull out on an Atlanta defense that, from what I've been reading on Twitter throughout the episode, has been phenomenal. They've done very, very well, especially with Guzan out. But I still think they can take advantage of some weak points throughout the back line there.
Yeah, that's definitely my my area on Atlanta that I'm most concerned about. I know that starting level talent is pretty good in defense. I'm a little bit worried about them being thin there. Not exactly sure. I know Miles has had some injuries that he's been battling since he's been in the league, so that has me concerned. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're like razor thin at the back. They definitely have some options, but I'm not as sold on some of the backups. I'm not as sold, and I wouldn't feel as comfortable with them in the team. But yeah, definitely will be interesting to see how they come up against a very strong Orlando attack. I'm really looking to see. I'm actually expecting probably the man of the match for this game to be Chris Mueller.
Yeah,
would not be surprised.
No, I think it is too is you've got a new back line there, right? They're still trying to work together and gel a little bit, and Pato and Nani will as well. But when you have that much talent and experience, you don't really need a lot of time to gel. You just play, right?
Yeah.
You know the international language of football, and you just play.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm excited for, is just to make it look so natural again.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the deal is with Franco and Atlanta. I don't remember if they officially announced him or not yet. I'm trying to remember. But I know he wasn't in the team at all today. Maybe that was a quarantine thing. See, he had COVID, right? Oh, maybe I think they did announce him, but he had COVID or something.
Yeah, they announced him, but then he caught COVID.
Right. Okay. So he probably won't play the first game. I'm not sure when he caught it and when his quarantine started. So then we'd probably see the same lineup that they came out with today. I would say most likely. So that would be Robinson and Walks at the back. So yeah, definitely. I'd be curious to see how much they try to attack Anton Walks. But yeah, definitely going to be an exciting game. I'm nervous about it, but I'm looking forward to it at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to see the formation that they put out.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust how Google had them lined up.
Yeah, because that doesn't make sense to me.
No, I mean they had Santi Sosa at center back, and yeah, I'm not sure exactly how they were lining up.
Yeah, like I said, I wish I saw it because I would have been able to notice it a little bit better. But a 3-4-1-2 or a 3-4-2-1 is a very interesting shape.
I'm not sure if they would keep that shape with Moreno. I'm not sure why Moreno wasn't in there.
They'd probably go 4-2-3-1. Let Sosa and Hyman sit behind with Moreno.
Yeah, Moreno would probably come in for Ibarra.
Yeah, Barco, or even Ibarra, like whoever you want to play, Barco in the middle or what have you. Jurgen Damm wide, whatever, and then Yosef up top. But you'll probably see a more conventional formation, or not. Who knows? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, the only way we'll know is we'll have to wait and see.
In 3 days, we will find out. We also have to find out who's scoring for NYCFC in their first match against DC United. What I'm looking for. What I love looking at these rumors where they sell all these players and then their only striker they have left is rumored to leave as well.
Yeah, I
Like,
keep hearing about Tati being rumored to leave, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. I mean, it's just constant rumors.
Well, and here's the thing, right? You have Ronnie Dyla sitting there saying, "Oh, the board doesn't give us enough money for players," yet they're just selling everybody. Like, what are they doing with it? Like, are they in the process of liquidating their club? I don't know.
Maybe they get the Red Bull treatment from the Man City group.
They do, but not. This is worse than Red Bull treatment.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
like
fair.
Red Bull have gone out and signed players, and we're rumor that Red Bull are trying to train for Mark Anthony Kaye by dropping Sean Davis. You know what type of an upgrade that would be? I love Sean Davis. I think he's a great player, great dude. But Mark Anthony Kaye for Sean Davis and some GAM, right here.
Oh yeah, you take that in a second.
Are you kidding? That's immediately that puts us in the playoff picture, no question.
Yeah, is that involved with the Frankie Amaya trade as well?
I
Or
think
is that
Frankie
separate?
Amaya is a separate thing, but imagine we get Frankie Amaya for like $1 million in GAM because Struber's like, we're gonna make $4 million when we sell him to Salzburg anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, you guys will have Caden Clark money pretty soon, probably, right?
Caden Clark money at the end of the year. That moving too far ahead. We'll get to that.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, who scores for New York City?
Maybe DC does.
DC does. You're right. I think
own goals.
So here's what I got to figure out, because New York City FC have played a bunch of preseason games, and they've looked relatively good.
Yeah, I think
So
I saw they beat Orlando, and that was the
they beat
one
Orlando
loss Orlando
3-2. They don't have stats, but they beat Columbus 3-0 and DC 2-1, but they don't have stats for any of these games.
Columbus lost to Orlando too. Maybe we were way too hyped up on Columbus.
No, I think Columbus have been playing a ton of their backups in these games.
Yeah, but their backup should be better than a 3-0 loss to NYCFC. All right, it's preseason. I'm not going to harp on this too much.
Exactly. But like I said, they're getting goals.
Yeah,
now,
they really
are.
are.
Chicago is an own goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I can probably do a little bit of digging to figure out who scored for the other games. But they're getting goals, but it just must be some unconventional way that they're playing. And granted, I haven't watched, right? Like I said, I'm not watching the preseason games.
Okay, so I actually have the goals up if you want to know.
Yes, please.
Okay, so for Orlando, it was 2 from Tati and 1 from Jesus Medina. And then that's not what I wanted. Sorry, hold on one second. Columbus. It was 1 from Medina, 1 from Maxi, and 1 from Tajiri Shroudy.
Okay.
And then the last one is against DC. And that one, it was Tati and Yasin.
All right. So it's quite clear that Tati Castellanos is their only like true attacker.
Yeah,
You got Medina.
Yeah, Medina scored a couple, it seems like. I mean, there were a lot. It seems like
in terms of strikers, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least until a bear comes back.
Right, and they're liking this Andres Yasin guy too. They're saying Andres Yasin is first choice on the left side. So you're looking at a probably back to that 5-2-3 that they like to do, with Yasin, Tati, and Medina, and then in the midfield you'll get Parks and Maxi with
Sands,
Tinnerholm, Sands in the back, Kyans and Chanot, and then left back here. Left back would be
it'd be Amundsen, right? The new guy.
The new guy they just signed. So that'll have to be their look at their starting 11.
I mean, their
So
starting 11 is pretty decent. It's just that they're kind of thin
I
in
think I
depth.
might be. I think I might be too hurting. Hanging on to them a little bit too low. I think they might be a lot better than I think they will.
Yeah, I mean, they're. It doesn't feel like their 11 changed a lot last year. I mean, obviously they lost Alex Ring, which is gonna hurt. That's for sure. But it just feels like they're thin. Like I'd be concerned if they started to rack up a couple of injuries. But if this starting 11 stays healthy and stays out there, that's a quality starting 11.
You're right. I agree. I
But
am thinking.
it's not great to just hope that your starting 11 stays healthy, especially when you're going from playing like 20 something games last year to now back to a full season schedule. Like
Yep.
I'm I mean, I wouldn't want to put all my eggs in the starting 11 basket, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I think I think my Red Bull bias kicked in when I was looking at them. I think they're going to be a lot better than I originally thought, and I'll give them that. Though I think I need to accept the fact that this is probably not Red Bull's year. So don't just bring NYC down with us. All right, so that's enough on them. What are you looking at?
I am looking at trying to find my notes. I'm looking at
I gotta
DC.
get my charger.
All right, I'll still keep going. I'm looking at DC. I want to see what does DC look like without Benny Ball. I mean, this is the first time in how I don't even know how many years that they actually have a new coach in charge now. I mean, there's talent on this team. This team has the ability to be a talented competing team. But do they have the coach and the formation, the system to do it? And that's what I'm wondering because now we have an opportunity to look at something new for DC for the first time in a long time. So that's what I'm going to be watching.
Yep. I heard all of that, and I completely and utterly agree. Indeed, very much.
As sad as I am to see Benny Ball go.
Yeah. But and Adam's looking for Edison Flores a second year, and I'm sure you touch on that a little bit in terms of who's going to step up for their rebound. It has to be him, right?
Him as well as a couple other guys. I don't think it's just solely on him. But yeah, definitely. He's definitely one of the guys.
Moving on, because we are about 45 minutes in and we have tons of games.
We didn't even hit the standings yet.
We have tons of games to go. One of them is Red Bull, so we have at least an hour done before.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dallas, MLS's newest team versus Colorado. I am so hyped to watch Dallas play their first ever game. Because they haven't played games before. You can't tell me they have.
I genuinely can't believe that Dallas fans haven't come for your head yet.
It's because nobody listens to us from Dallas. I think they've blocked us already. No, I'm wondering if they're going to combo Hara and Pepe up top, or if they don't, who starts first? Because I think they both have the talent to play up there. I just want to know who's number one. I'll keep it short and sweet because I don't want to talk about a team that has no history.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this quick too, so we can keep moving along. But I'm looking to see Dallas's new wave of youngsters. I mean, we know Dallas arguably has the best academy in Major League Soccer. I mean, they're pumping out kids. And
Red Bull, like a word, please.
They can have a word, but I disagree, at least as of right now. Dallas is just sending people out to Europe and they're not even playing games. I mean, it's absurd. So I'm curious to see the guys that actually do get games for them, like Pepe, Ferreira, Tessman, how Paxton hopefully will be healthy this year. How are they going to perform? Are they going to follow that same line and play well, get their move to Europe, and Dallas restarts the cycle again? So that's what I'll be keeping an eye on.
And we're going to talk about Colorado because I feel like we all kind of focused on Dallas.
That's true.
I'm going to wonder if Robin Fraser took my advice on formations.
Did you give him a call?
I didn't give him a call, but I put it on TikTok. So obviously he's seen it.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously following.
Obviously. So I'm wondering if he takes it into account. And when he does, I wonder if I get credit. Like, will he shout me out? Be like, "Hey, big ups to DP Pod for this brilliant idea." And do I get like a winner's medal when they win stuff with my? Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of things that I need to know about. That I will need to talk to Robin Fraser about later on in the year.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys can hash out the details, but
I'm
it would
sure I have a
seem
contract waiting somewhere.
it would seem kind of rude if he were to take your idea and then not give you credit for it.
That's like plagiarism. You get kicked out of school for that type of stuff.
I mean, he should run this formation through Turnitin before he has to use it. Okay. This is a really stupid tangent.
We're such nerds. All right, let's go on. Let's go on to the future MLS Cup champions of 2021, New York Red Bull
Sporting
against
Kansas City.
Sporting Kansas City. Make sure my phone's charging. What am I looking forward to? How many goals Red Bull wins by? How many goals we don't give up, because we're never going to give up. Caden Clark scoring 9 goals with Brian White scoring at least 6. No, I'm looking at Struber's new system, plain and simple. Red Bull have consistently been a 4-2-3-1, at various times a 4-2-2-2 when they're trying to implement the pressing system that they do in Austria and Germany, which I watched a phenomenal video on. That when they do it right, it looks so good. Red Bull never did it right. Red Bull New York never did it right, so it never worked. So we just went back to 4-2-3-1 and kept winning. Struber's going to come in, play 4-1-2-1-2 diamond in the middle. I want to see how he implements that and how the players adapt to it. He's made it very clear that he's going to need time for the system to set, for it to be understood, and for it to be implemented correctly. So how long, and can we not lose by 4 goals?
That's a good goal. I'm kind of looking at the same things that Adam put here. I'm looking at Caden Clark. Is this his breakout year? I mean, I know we don't even have to question the move to Europe. He's already got it. But is this his breakout year in Major League Soccer? Is this his Brendan Aronson year? Is this his Alphonso Davies year? I feel like he has the talent to have that. So I'm very much going to be keeping an eye on him this season. And then also Alan Pulido. I mean, the guy is talented enough to be a top striker in this league. I just want to see him stay healthy for the whole season. And if that's the case, he's going to be extremely dangerous for SKC.
Yep. You also mentioned something in these notes about Red Bull's first game on their road to greatness. Do you want to expand on that, or are we just going to let it sit and let the listeners fester on that? Because it's a great point, right? They are moving really, really well. No, I think it's going to be. We got a lot of growing pains we're going to go through, and we kind of have to just accept it. But yeah, I'm interested to see how Caden Clark. I think Caden Clark has a Tyler Adams-esque year where he is like head above heels, the best player on the field, but has nothing around him. So he's like pulling the team. If we make playoffs, pulling them to the playoffs. Man, we need I hope Fabio goes off too, by the way, the striker from Brazil that we got. Oh man, I hope he just blows up, because that's what we need.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Chicago, New England.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking to see if New England starts to put all these pieces together, because we know they kind of over the last few seasons they've hovered around 4th to 7th in the league, and now it feels like this team has the talent to be at the top of the East. Can they put it all together and finally break that 4th to 7th threshold that they've been in? Can they take that next step and move up the standings? To be honest with you, I don't even think they need to. I feel like as long as they just make playoffs, they can just be a dangerous playoff team that just people will sleep on, and then they will do exactly what they did last year, except even better maybe. And then we could be seeing them in MLS Cup. So I think that this team is a sleeper team. I think it's a team that people are going to sleep on and be surprised at how well they perform.
Man says as he questions my placing of them in the Eastern Conference standing prediction.
Listen,
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
That. Now, I just want to call out, Adam put down that he's excited to watch Tajon Buchanan. I call malarkey. He didn't even add him in his top 5 right backs this season in last episode. Go check it out if you haven't already. I call silliness, and I think Adam is just pandering to the masses. And it's a good thing he's not here because he might have been kicked off the pod if he said something like that. Myself.
Come on, you got to say it. Say the quote of the day.
Adam, you idiot. There we go. We're back. Yeah, mine's the same thing. Can New England make a run in the top 3 teams in the East? I say yes. Spoiler. But yeah, mine's the same thing as you. So if we're talking about Chicago, can they start putting their pieces together, the ones that they brought in last year? We talk about all the time how we thought that they had a very good window 2 years ago, and then COVID hit, and a lot of them didn't get a chance to play. Looking at Pineda playing center mid to allow, oh goodness, who's their center mid that's been playing? Madron, thank you. I wanted to say Alceida, but I knew he was the outside mid. I forgot. Okay, Madron to play higher forward and start connecting strings. We talked about that a little bit in earlier episodes. Go check those out if you haven't. Love these shameless plugs. But if I'm looking at Chicago, that's what I'm looking at here. Just can they start putting it together? Can they give Barrett some help so that his 20 goals that he scores this season are not the only 20 goals? And can they tighten that back lineup?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna go?
No. Go. Let's keep going. We've talked about this stuff.
Austin. Yeah, that's kind of like I said, we're kind of just repeating ourselves at this point. LAFC Austin.
You want to go first?
Sure. Obviously, we're looking for the non-white jerseys, which once again, Adam, I call malarkey because LAFC's jerseys are like gray. If that's what you're calling non-white and you're celebrating about, I'm malarkey. This guy. That's all I'm gonna say. If we're not watching the video, I'm pointing at the quote of the day. Adam, you idiot. No, I'm looking for Austin's play style. Right? We did a whole segment on how we think they might line up and how they might not line up and what Wolf is going to do and who's playing where. And that is just something I'm going to dial in on. Once again, super nerd when it comes to formations and tactics. So that is my focus. And I'm almost half tempted to possibly live stream that game from Cincinnati as well. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah. I'm looking at LAFC. I want to see if this season is their return to them dominating games again. That we're gonna get Vela back after he was gone last year, and they have Diego Rossi, who is coming off a Golden Boot season, and they have Corey Barrett up top, which is definitely an exciting piece to add. It seems like they're shoring up the back line a bit more, which is also a good step in the right direction. I wish they still addressed the goalkeeper issue, but one step at a time.
Yeah.
We saw what they were capable of doing 2 years ago in 2019. I mean, they were arguably the most dominant team in Major League Soccer history. I don't think they'll get to that level again, but I do feel as though they will push towards that direction again after having a rough season last year. I think that they will go back towards winning games in blowouts like they did. Not saying that they're going to win every game. I'm sure there will still be mistakes, but I feel like they have that capability again to win like score 4 or 5 goals a game.
I feel like it's super unfair that LAFC always opened the season against an expansion team. Last year they had Inter Miami last year. They got Austin this year. I'm sure they had something super simple the year before. Like, yeah, let's just take one of the best teams in the league and let them waltz right in. Let's not put them up against Columbus or Philly or hell, even Seattle or Kansas City. Let's put them against Austin, who I think is going to be a lot better than what we think. But Anyways, Nashville, Cincinnati. This one's going to be really quick. What are you looking forward to?
I know everybody put Brenner on their list, so I wanted to go with something different.
You loser.
So I went with the Lucci return.
I'm okay
Lucci
with that.
Acosta. I'm
Yeah, I'm
excited
okay.
to see him come back. He's not with DC now, so I am curious to see how he performs. Will we see the same Lucci we saw in DC, or are we going to see FCC take a toll on him and
I
tear
think
his reputation in the ground?
I think you're going to see very similar Lucci. He's got almost the same team around him. Like not awful, but not world class, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm looking forward to Brenner, and so is Adam. It's very simple. Nobody gets signed for that much money just to be like, I don't really care. So, again, if we're going to talk about Nashville's side, there's really not much to talk about. Can Yonder Cadiz, he only came for the playoffs, but can he come in and just right from the start pick up where we left off? That's probably the only thing I could talk about. And how many goals past the number 2 player is Alex Mouille going to be in the Golden Boot race? I'm going to say 30, but I mean, it could be anything, right?
Are you saying he's going to beat Pato? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, listen, I love Pato, but it's a goat amongst men, right? So you never count out the goat. All right, quickly, Miami versus Galaxy. Obviously, we're looking at LA Galaxy and their life without Pavone, and their life without replacing Pavone. So this will be very interesting. I take that back. They have somebody from the French league.
Yeah, I saw they just signed somebody.
Yeah,
I forget
they
his name.
just signed him like today, I think.
Was it like Kevin? No, it may not be Kevin.
Kevin. They got run by New England on last Wednesday, 4-1, by the way.
Galaxy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how they did in preseason. I didn't actually check that.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's all right. Kevin Cabral. That is who they are looking for. He will basically be the like for like replacement, I think, for oh my god, they're paying $5.9 million for this guy. Where is this money coming from? Oh wait, that's right, Pavone.
This was the Pavone money.
He was in the PSG Academy, signed for a second division French team, and they are paying $6 million for him. So this guy better ball out.
Listen, they need players. They need to spend whatever to get guys in.
Yes.
Also, not sure if this is missing stuff, but it looks like LA played 2 preseason games.
And they were both against New England.
Yeah, and they won the first one, but then they got blown out in the second one.
Okay. Sorry, side note. Also, a thing regarding Miami, because we're moving on from the Galaxy because
yeah, okay,
they're kind of useless. How did Miami get away with having 4 designated players all season last year?
Because it's David Beckham's team.
Who let that happen? I saw that today. I was at work about to leave, and I opened up my phone. I'm like, study finds that LA Galaxy had 4 designated players in
You mean Miami?
Higuain, Pellegrini, Pizarro, and then Matuidi. Matuidi was signed on a DP deal, and nobody told them about it. And
they're not going to do anything about it. It doesn't matter.
I know they're not, but how? Like, why is it always at like the anybody's baby team, right? And I'll use NYC as an example because it's the easy one, right? You have teams that are getting turned away from this league because they don't have a stadium. NYC are going on year 8, I think. Yeah, year 8 of playing in a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they make us money. Guess we don't have to worry about it. The hypocrisy is absurd. But we're not going to harp on it. Anyways, what do you?
So what's going on with this season then? Because did they buy someone down?
They have to buy somebody down, and I don't know who they're trying to buy down. I have to assume it's going to be Tweedy because he's like 90.
So is it fair to call this game the battle of the 4 DP teams?
It has to be. Yeah, I like that.
Because Galaxy had the same problem
like 2 years ago when they took Zlatan in. They had Alessandrini, Dos Santos,
Squared.
Zlatan,
I thought they
and
had both Dos Santos.
were both Dos Santoses on
At
DP?
least Gio
I
was.
knew
I don't
Gio
remember
was,
about
but who was the
Jonathan.
fourth? There was another one. I don't think it was Jonna.
No.
Um, LA
Quick research.
Galaxy. Yeah. See, here's the thing. People talk about how we're like unprepared. It's not that we're unprepared. It's that we're prepared and then we go this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, and our tangents take us to things that we just want to know. We're not unprepared.
Yeah, I mean, also Adam and I are just stupid, so there's that.
we just love like finding things out in real time. No, you're right. It was Jonah Dos Santos. You're right. Both Dos Santoses, Alessandrini, and then Zlatan came in. They let go of Gio.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the battle of the 4 DPs.
Battle of the 4 DP teams. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. I love looking at this list of DPs current and past, and looking at how Red Bulls had Juan Pablo Angel, Thierry Henry, Rafa Marquez, Bradley Wright Phillips, Tim Cahill, and our current ones is one, and it's Drew Yearwood, and before that it was Josh Sims. Like, anyways, what are you looking forward to outside? Is it just the retirement game?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this game that much. I guess Chicharito, like Adam said, you gotta expect more from him this year. So, if you're an LA Galaxy fan, you got to be hoping he starts off first game showing that he's improving.
He needs a brace at least, or at least like a lot of good chances where the keeper like stones him. But if he's just running around throwing fits all day, you might as well just sell him. Game of the week, you gotta say Columbus versus Philly is a game of the week, no question. Oh, stop it!
Question.
Oh, stop it! Are you kidding? Columbus won.
I'm not saying I disagree with you, but you said no question.
Tell me I'm wrong.
What
other game beats this game?
I don't make the argument that Orlando is in the
wrong. Oh, of course you do. Done. You're off the pod. You're off the pod for being biased, because bias just does not fly on this podcast. You know that. You know we never use bias on this podcast.
LAFC Austin could also be a really good game.
No, but just knowing what they did last season, Philly Columbus are the best.
But Philly also lost arguably 2 of their best players
and replaced them with Fofana and any center back that they want. They're going to be fine. I think. Yeah, I think Columbus takes this game, but I think it's still the game you have to watch this week.
I agree. I'm just saying. I don't think it's a no question, but I agree. I think it's the game of the week.
It's a no question. What am I looking forward to? Everything, because it's a game of the week, of course. But no, I want to see how they use Molino. Is he going to start? Is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to play at all? Is he just going to sit there and get water? I don't know. Where does he fit in? No, I'm pretty sure he'll be starting on one of the wings, and or he might come off the bench for DE7, because we all know goats don't ride the bench usually. But no, I want to see how he gets implemented in this team. Just me.
I am looking to see who's going to start for Columbus, because as we've talked about many times already, this team is incredibly deep, and they have almost an entire second team that could arguably be starting. So I'm curious to see who's getting the starts for Columbus. And, carrying that into the season, is that going to change? Is that going to stay the same? Probably depend on how they perform, but yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for in game 1.
Sure. Yeah, and Adam's looking forward to just what we're talking about, whoever starts for the 2 players that they lost the most, Aronson and McKenzie. So obviously things to keep an eye out, things we definitely will be talking about, because this is a live stream game. No question. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't.
I'm not saying you're wrong there.
Good. Because the only other game that would probably compete against this is Vancouver-Portland. Because who doesn't want to watch a nice little Cascadia Cup matchup, right?
Right. So before we move on, quick question.
No.
Who is Fofana?
We talked about this.
Are you talking about Fontana?
Yeah.
Why did he write
Did you not hear
Fofana?
did you not hear the joke?
No, did I miss it?
This might have been me and him off air. That's probably why I like so smooth with it,
I
because
was so confused.
because
I was like, who's
it goes with
Fofana?
our theme of just constantly messing up names.
This is why fan bases hate us. Because we mispronounce everybody's
We're
name.
so unprofessional, bro.
I know we really are. I mean, come on, look at this podcast. We're like, yeah, this isn't anywhere close to a professional podcast.
No, Anthony Fontana obviously is who we're talking about, guys. But for anybody who's been watching this long enough, mispronouncing names are what we do. It's kind of like a joke. I feel weird. I guess I shouldn't feel weird having to explain that, because most people who watch this are watching clips, not the full episodes, and aren't
Yeah,
listening.
they don't
to
hear us
51.
talking about this stuff.
Yeah, this isn't their 51st time listening to the podcast. So I should probably explain that a little more, but
Whatever.
whatever. What are they gonna do? Cancel us?
All press is good press.
Exactly. That's Adam's motto. Adam's gonna get that tattooed.
That'll be on Adam's scarf.
Yes.
Yours will be Benny Ball. His will be all press is good press.
Oh, now you're giving me really good ideas here. Vancouver, Portland, just to finish up the final game of week 1. I'm looking to see if they change their play style at all now that they have 2 outside backs who can actually play. And I say that with a grain of salt, because I like Jake Nowitzki a lot. But I think Bruno Gaspar probably adds a little bit more to that. And obviously Ali Adnan is a little bit stronger than most. So just want to see if they change their formation. We talked about it a little bit a couple episodes ago. Go check it out if you haven't already. Yeah, like I said, nothing crazy here. Just want to see if what type of game they play.
Yeah, I am really liking this team as a sleeper team to sneak into the playoffs. Like they have a lot of good players. It's going to be 2 questions: can they stay healthy, and can the Vancouver board hold themselves back from selling them if they perform well?
Fair, totally.
And those are big ifs. But assuming everybody stays healthy, I feel like there's stuff to be excited about for this team. I mean, I feel like, let me check. Last season, it was obviously an extended playoff number. I mean, granted, only by 1, but they just missed the playoffs out of San Jose. And I feel like if one of those other teams slipped that was in the playoff spots last year, they could sneak into that 7th spot if things go well for them. I mean, again,
it's a big if. That's a stretch.
It is an if. It is an if.
That's like a cross country border stretch.
It's definitely an if, because there's new faces that we don't really know as well. Are they going to perform? But they got the talent here, and I'm very excited to see what they can do with it. Yeah, so game 1, obviously it's not going to determine the whole season, but this is certainly, you're going up against a Portland team that many of us expect to be very good. So a great opportunity to show what you can do.
Sure. And obviously Adam's just watching out Adnan, so he doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that is our roundup for the games this week. We now actually move into predictions, because actually this whole thing was supposed to be predictions, and that just right out the window. That was supposed to be like a 30-minute segment that went for an hour and 15 minutes. So good job, us. We did really good. We did very goodly. Bold predictions. Here is something we did last year that was a lot of fun. So we're bringing it back. I think it's actually more fun when the season ends and we review it and we're like, oh my God.
Why were we thinking that?
Yeah. So we're going to go real quick through this because we're almost running out of time here, but go ahead. Connor, give me your first one.
All right. So my first bold prediction is that by the end of the season, Diego Rossi becomes the most important player on LAFC, finally surpassing Carlos Vela.
Way, that's really bold, even though he did it last season.
Because Vela didn't play.
No, I like that one. I think if he doesn't surpass him, I think they just are even.
Yeah, I just think that this is a golden opportunity for Rossi coming off a year where he was the main guy in LAFC. Just be that guy again, just ball out again one more time, and you'll get your move to Europe.
Yeah,
And
how hard could it be, right?
I mean, he's been doing it every year. I mean, for him, it really doesn't feel that hard.
Now I know. My first one is a heartbreaker. Red Bull and their 11 season streak of making the playoffs. I don't think Struber has the confidence that he can even get there, which is strange because I've never heard a manager come in and be like, we definitely can't make the playoffs this year. But that's kind of the message he sent out. He's like, we're going to be really good in like 4 years, which is a really weird feeling. But I don't know if they have it right now. And we were talking about it off air, but there's a rumor that Sean Davis is getting traded for Mark Anthony Kaye, immediately playoff team if that happens. Like, no question. But that's just me. What's your number 2?
My number 2 kind of spoke about it before, and kind of spoiling a little bit conference standings, but my second bold prediction is that Vancouver sneaks into that last playoff spot.
After your explanation, I think it's not crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
these
are bold predictions for a reason. I mean, they're not likely to happen, but it's just a shot in the dark.
All right, my second one, New England Revolution challenge for the Supporter Shield, and it comes down to the last day, kind of like 2018 Red Bull Atlanta. Like, we got a decision day title decision on our hand, which would be so cool. But I like the way this team's moving. They're quiet, but they're good, and I think they're going to challenge for that Supporter Shield spot. And it might come down all the way to the last day. That's me.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's a bold prediction, but not one that's completely far off. So I think that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Third? And then my third one, I think finally, after many years, this could be the breakout year for Barco under Hines to finally prove that he can get that move to Europe, because this has to be the year for him. I mean, it's been too many years, too many reasons why he hasn't hit the ground yet. This has to be it. I mean, I feel like, I mean, obviously I can't speak for him, but the pressure's got to be on him. I mean, this is his 4th season now, believe it or not. He's got to perform. He's got to do well, and everybody's been asking the question since he's been in the league: is he good or is he bad? So I'm going to say he's going to be good under the new coach, and he's going to get his move to Europe, and we're not going to have to play this question of him ever again, hopefully, at least in an MLS sense.
Is this a start where you just start to ride all the Atlanta players and think they're the best thing ever for the rest of the night? Is that what we're doing here?
No.
I don't know about that. I can see farther down the list than you think, and I can actually.
You said all the players.
I'm gonna smack you. Anyways, my last one. You did the Western Conference bold predictions, really. I did the Eastern. Brenner hits 12 goals this season. I think this is a season where FCC start to actually have an attack, and it's all because of him. So I'm going to say he hits 12 goals this season.
All right, pretty good.
I think so. And Adam doesn't have any because all of his would be Ali Adnan, Golden Boot, Ali Adnan MVP, Ali Adnan Young Player of the Year at age 55. That'd be his bold prediction. So we're not even going to go there. But we have award predictions to go through.
Yep.
We're going to name for you all top scorer, MVP, newcomer. Some of these are actual awards. Some of them are not. They're just ours. Young Player of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Manager of the Year. I'll start. Top scorer. Oh, you copied me. What a surprise. Because I'm all knowing and you're just. Anyways. Alan Polito, top scorer. 1 full year healthy. Around a very, very good SKC team. In a Western Conference that might be a little bit weaker than before. I think Seattle's gotten worse. Minnesota's gotten worse. LAFC's been bang average with a bad goalkeeper. I think he's got a lot of opportunities to be very, very good this season if he stays healthy.
Yep. Pretty much the same reason why I went with him as well.
Sure, yeah.
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 Sure. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, just copy the smartest guy on the podcast. I get it.
Yeah.
Always want to be like the best. I
Sure.
take it as a
Sure.
compliment.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. MVP. What do you want?
I said Alan Pulido as well.
Okay.
And I said him because I predicted him top scorer. And I'm going to spoil a little bit here. I had SKC top of the West as well in my predictions. I think if he's the top scorer on the best team in the West, potentially best team in the league, he's got to at least be in the conversation for MVP. And it would not be too far-fetched to say that he could win that award, depending on if he stays healthy.
Agreed. I think he'll be very good. I think Lucas Zelarayan will be better after watching what he did last year. With a better team around him, I think he is just going to light because he's got so many options who can score for him, right? He's now got Molino on the left. He's got Pedro Santos on the right. He's got Zardes up top. He's got BWP off the bench. Like this dude literally just doesn't have to move. He's just going to sit there and play through balls all day long for people to score. He's going to be dirty. So, and I think what helps is second assists, right? Because I think what he'll end up doing is playing like Molino through, who sets up Zardes for a tap in, but he'll get a second assist there, right? So his numbers are going to look a lot better than usual, and that's going to help him a ton.
Yeah, I would have no surprise at all if he wins MVP. My only thing that was stopping me from putting him was the fact that he does have such a talented team around him. I almost wonder if they would have more moments where they wouldn't necessarily have to run through him. And they might just be like, we'll go right to Kevin Molino and he can go right to Zardes, or we'll go right to Pedro Santos and he'll go right to Zardes. So we don't have to go through Zelarayan, and then that kind of takes some of the spotlight, or it'll take away from like the numbers that he puts up. Obviously, talent wise, he's an MVP caliber player, but that was my only thing keeping me from putting him as MVP. I mean, clearly the guy would deserve it if he won it. I have no questions about that.
Yep, absolutely. Newcomer of the year, and this is where I started slashing you a little bit. Brenner is the obvious choice. First year in the league for that much money. No question that he is one of the front runners at the opening of the season to be in this spot. And you chose.
Yeah, so this one was weird for me because
you had to put Atlanta players in. You couldn't just go through an award ceremony without Atlanta player.
I don't know. I don't think he would win this. So I put Santi Sosa.
Yeah, he's a center defensive mid. What do you mean?
I know, and that's why I don't think he would realistically win the award because of the position that he plays. But in my opinion, I see him as the most valuable newcomer of the year.
This is why we don't let you have opinions, because they're just not good. Like, you have wrong opinions. You know how awful your opinion has to be for it to be wrong? Listen, it's literally impossible, and you found a way to do it.
If I put Brenner, you would have been like, "Oh, you're just copying me again."
Well, yes,
so I have to put someone different.
But don't put somebody who makes sense.
I think he can have a huge influence on Atlanta. Listen, he's going to be a CDM, so they're going to look over him for the award because they're going to be like, let's go for the guy that gets goals and assists. But I feel like he will be very influential and a very important player for Atlanta this season. And if Atlanta perform the way that I'm predicting them to perform, then that will be he will be a very great player for them, and certainly in my view would be up there for newcomer of the year. And I'm unsure about Brenner, mostly because of FCC, and it's because it's FCC, and I just don't. I don't have trust in them right now.
So that's fair, but Santi Sosa is not the answer. But anyways,
yeah, I mean, maybe you could go with like Cecilio Dominguez, maybe.
Sure, anybody on Atlanta or not Atlanta, Austin.
Yeah, I
Any
mean,
other
I'm
guys
trying to
coming
think
in?
of like some of the other standout newcomers. Does Lucci count as a newcomer?
I don't know. I don't even know if is it a real award?
I
I
don't
thought that was one we
I
made up.
don't know.
All right. I think that's one we made up. Anyways,
Okay.
let's just go to young player of the year because this is gonna get me angry. I
I
also put
was
Brent Air because he's 21 and
uh
young player of the year is under 22. And you
yeah,
put who?
I put Barco. And I was trying to look. I don't know if he would be eligible because he turned 22 in March, I think. But Russie is 22 and he won the award last year.
Yeah, it's 22 or under.
Okay.
Ew, he was born in 1999. Ew, I'm so
So
old.
part of my bold prediction was that he was going to play well this season. And if that was the case, then I certainly think he would be in the running for this award. And I was trying to look at some of the other guys that I think would get reasonable minutes that are under 22 and that I think would have the impact on team like a Brenner or a Barco. And because I have those question marks about Brenner and FCC, that's why I went with Barco in this case.
Yeah. What?
Obviously, people are going to disagree with me because will have their different opinions on Barco. I'm sure plenty of people will say, oh, he's not going to perform. He's going to continue to be a bust. And if that's the case, you're definitely not going to see him as the young player of the year. But if you are someone that thinks he's going to play well and earn that move to Europe, then I feel like he's got to be in the contention for this because he's going to be in the spotlight and he's going to be on a team that gets a lot of coverage and will certainly be in the conversation, I think.
I hear you. Goalkeeper. We'll just move on from that. Goalkeeper of the year. Who do you got?
So I don't necessarily think that this guy is the best goalkeeper. I mean, if you listen to our last episode, because by the time you guys are hearing this, it'll be the last episode.
Yeah.
I didn't put this at number one, and I went with Eloy Room because I see Columbus as having a very strong back line with a lot of different options. And I think that will benefit Room because he will have more clean sheets on his record. He will probably face less difficult shots. And I think those are going to look good on paper. And that's what's going to get people to be like, okay, Room was really great this year. Columbus was really great this year. They didn't concede a lot of goals. Room's the goalkeeper of the year.
Sure. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, but
I think Matt.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say I think Matt Turner is in the same boat. I like his back line. I think they're gonna have a really good year this year, and I think everybody's been raving about his national team possibility being in the number one spot for God knows whatever reason. But I think he's in. It's for the same exact reason I have him there. I could put either of them, and I would not have any issue.
Yeah, I like the Matt Turner choice a lot too. I think it probably comes down to the fact that we see New England finishing in different places, but I mean, it seemed like Matt Turner was arguably I don't want to say the best because I think Andre Blake was the best goalkeeper last year, but he was
Oh yeah,
top three at least. I think last season he was really good. It seemed like.
yeah, sure. Before we move on to defensive player of the year, the New York Mets have won the first game of their season.
The bullpen did not blow it.
The bullpen
It's a
didn't blow
good
it.
day. It's a
Pete
good day.
Alonso was the fastest player to 70 home runs, smoked Aaron Judge out of the water because he's not a waste man like Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, literally the most overrated baseball player in the league. Pete Alonso, like, I don't have a number that describes how much better Pete Alonso is than Aaron Judge.
You're just trying to get literally every fan base to just hate us.
I
Every
did.
single one.
Because listen, no coverage is bad coverage, right?
Yeah.
Defensive player of the year. I got Jonathan Mensah for the same reason you put Eloy Room. I think he was close to it last year, and I think he's going to repeat as a very good year. While I don't know what Walker Zimmerman's going to do, but I also think it's really tough to go back-to-back defensive player of the
year. Yeah, no arguments there. That's a really good choice. I went with Yeimar Gomez Andrade, and I think with the loss of JMO, Seattle is going to have to rely more on the defense, and he has been a very good center back for them. And I think that the pressure to step up is going to help him move up in terms of like guys to consider for defensive player of the year. Like if Seattle is performing this year, I think he's one of the main reasons why they performed well.
I like
And
that.
that's why I put him there.
I like that mindset. Don't disagree. I don't think you're going to get the result you're thinking you're going to get.
Maybe not.
I think because he's going to have more people on him, he's going to look worse than better. But just me. Who do you have for your manager of the year?
I went for Peter Vermees because
Interesting.
I see SKC having a strong year this year, so he's definitely going to be in the running for me.
I put Caleb Porter for the same reason, and because I couldn't stomach putting Bruce Arena winning another manager of the year award. Just couldn't do it. So Caleb Porter for me. Columbus Crew, another great year. So that is our awards and end of year predictions done. Bold predictions done. Let's do it. Whoop. Look at that. Interactive board, baby.
Yeah, we finally knocked one thing off the board. Like 2 hours in.
Let's move into the Eastern Conference standings. We're going to go really quickly. Start from the bottom. Connor, go first. Just all the way through.
All right, I'll try to go through them quick. So 14th, Inter Miami. Then above them, FCC, Montreal, DC, Chicago, RBNY, Toronto, NYC, Nashville, New England, Philly, Atlanta, Orlando, Columbus.
Okay, we'll talk about them after. Okay. My next one, I have Montreal at the bottom, Inter Miami above them, DCU, FCC, RBNY in 10th, Chicago at 9th, New York City in 8th, just missing out on that last spot, Atlanta, Nashville, Toronto, Orlando, Philly, Columbus, and the New England Revolution at the top of the East. I told you they're going to win the Supporters' Shield this year. Anything that stands out to you that we talked about, why you wouldn't put them where? Why you have NYC making the playoffs or anything like that? Because I think we're relatively close in terms of who makes the playoffs and who doesn't outside of order.
Yeah, so
you have Toronto missing the playoffs. Let's talk about that.
I'm worried about their defense. That's my biggest concern for them because as of right now, and I haven't checked, so maybe I'm wrong, but their center back pair is Mavinga and Omar Gonzalez. And I believe that their backup is Zavaleta. And I think a youngster, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Julian Dunn.
Who's like 17, right? 20. Something like that.
He's 20.
He's 20. Okay, still he's pretty young. That just doesn't give me a lot of confidence. And I know that they performed very well last year. I think a lot of that had to do with Akinola and Alejandro Pozuelo. I'm thinking that teams are going to start to learn Pozuelo and Akinola a bit better and start to deal with them a little bit more. And that's going to put more of the pressure on the defense. And I'm not sold on Mavinga and Omar Gonzalez in the defense. I know fullback wise, they're pretty good, but that's my concern for them. That's why I have them 8th.
Interesting. Okay. I figure the reason I have them 5th is because that reason is something I've been looking at for a while, but they've always found a way to get around it. So I'm not worried. If you had to pick one,
wait, I have one other thing. They also have a new coach now. They don't have Greg Vanney anymore, and
sure, but it's Chris Armas.
I'm not sold on Chris Armas.
Chris Armas to the moon, baby.
Okay. Anyway,
if you had to pick one team that you think you're going to be wrong
on,
if you need time to think,
I'm going to say the Revs. I'll say the Revs.
High or low?
I think they can go higher.
Okay. For me, I've got a team that I think is going to go higher and a team I think will go lower. I think Atlanta United for me is going to go higher. I'm at 7. I think they'll finish way higher than that. I just wasn't sure how quickly Josef would be back, and we've seen that he's already back. So because of that, I think they go much higher. Nashville at 6, I think go lower and might not make the playoffs because NYC are not as bad as I thought they were. If Red Bull pull Mark Anthony K, I think that automatically puts them in a contention spot. I think Nashville's the odd team out in that spot.
Yeah, I don't totally disagree with you. In mine, yeah, if Red Bull pulled Mark Anthony K, I'd probably bump NYC out of the playoffs and move Red Bull into that last spot.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Maybe
Cool.
putting them ahead of Nashville, but to be honest, 6-7 probably not going to make much of a difference in the end anyway.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think there are some moves that still need to be made that has us up in the air. And when we watch this back at the end of the year and see that Red Bull went first in the East and won everything, we'll obviously have stuff to talk about. But no, I agree. That whoosh, Eastern Conference done. Western Conference, I'll start because you started last time.
All right.
San Jose in 13th. Above them, RSL. Then LA. Quick change.
Galaxy.
Quick change. LA Galaxy, yep. Okay, I'm going to go there, I think.
That's what I did too.
Vancouver in 10th, excuse me. Dallas in 9th. Minnesota in 8th, just missing the playoffs because we got yelled at for slating them in our last episode. Go check it out if you haven't already. Austin in 7th, grabbing that last playoff spot. I think they've got the team to do it, and I'm very excited to see it. Colorado in 6th. Houston in 5. We'll have a chat about that. Seattle in 4. LAFC in 3. Portland in 2. SKC in 1.
Alrighty.
Go ahead.
I got Galaxy in last in 13.
Ugh.
Then San Jose, RSL, Houston,
Disrespect.
Dallas, Minnesota, Vancouver grabbing that last playoff spot, Austin, Seattle, Colorado, LAFC, Portland, and then SKC winning the West.
All right. I want to hear why you disrespected Houston so badly.
I think that they are definitely taking steps in the right direction. I'm not sold on them completely making the turnarounds in 1 year. I mean, this team was atrocious last year, and I know that they brought in new guys, but I think that there will still be some chemistry growing pains in the beginning of the season. And then I'm still, and let me look at that thing. I just don't know what to expect from the new guys that are coming in. I certainly think they'll improve the team. I don't know if they'll take them from last place in the West to 5th in the West.
They've vastly improved at center back. They have vastly improved at center mid. They have extremely improved at striker. What more do you want?
Hold on. What is on?
Tim Parker over Kike Struna is vast. Joe Corona over Boniek Garcia, absolute dub. Maxi Rudy in Texas again. Give him the trophy now. Like, what do you mean? What with Darwin serving him? Game over. Ari Lassiter on the left. This team is set up to be very good. Tab Ramos at the helm. Let's go.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, that's code for yeah. You're right.
Let's talk about Minnesota because I want to talk to you about Minnesota.
I don't want to talk about Minnesota. They make me sad.
Minnesota. All right. So we obviously we talked about it before. Got a lot of slack from Minnesota fans, and in my opinion, it was rightfully so. I think that we overreacted based on their offseason on how they would be this season. Because I was even just looking based on last episode. Okay. This is your list. Minnesota's goalkeepers, honorable mention for top 5. Their right back is honorable mention. One of their center backs is in your top 10. The other one is maybe an honorable mention. Left back is in the top 5. One of their midfielders is 3rd on your list. Their left mid is 5th on your list, and their cam is 5th on your list. That's a majority of their starting 11 that you have in or around top 5 players in the league at their position. I understand that they lost Luis Amaria and they lost Kevin Molino. And those are definitely, you were looking at the comments. You said that they were saying that they weren't as important as we think they are. I certainly think that they were important players for them. That's why I dropped them down to 8th. But I don't think that this team is nearly as bad as we were making them out to be at first. I mean, we were really giving it to them when we were looking at their offseason. They still have a lot of good players. Certainly the back line. Their back line is still very good. My worry for them is the attack, because they have Juan Agudelo on top and Ethan Finley on the wing now. I mean, you went from Luis Amarilla and Kevin Molino to Juan Agudelo and Ethan Finley. And I'm not Adam. I don't see Ethan Finley as the 4th best right mid in the league. So I don't think that they've nearly filled the shoes of those 2 players, and hence why I dropped them down. But I certainly don't think that they should be slated as much as we did before, in my opinion.
So, Connor, what year are we in?
We are in 2021.
Have you not learned that at this point, we don't use logic and numbers and things that make sense to make other people feel like they haven't done something right? Because I didn't need that today. It is 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. I didn't need that. But I think you're right.
That's what you got.
I think you're right. So we made changes, and we made changes correctly.
Yes, Minnesota fans, please forgive us.
Don't forget. I don't want your forgiveness.
You love the Loons.
I love the Loons, but they already told me they're not watching anymore, so we've already lost them. There's no need to ask for forgiveness.
All right, fair. They're probably not going to listen to this anyway. You're right. But if they were to grab the striker from Boca, I'd probably move them into the playoffs, and I would
100%. 100%.
And I know Adrian Heath, I believe I saw a tweet mentioned that they were working on that striker and they were working on a replacement on the wing as well. I mean, you bring those 2 in, I'm probably looking at Minnesota being potentially a top 3 team.
Yeah.
No
disagreements there.
Yeah. So I'll be keeping my eye on Minnesota. I would not be against. Listen, I need a bold prediction. That's why I got Vancouver 7. Otherwise, I would consider moving them.
All right.
All right. Bold prediction.
All right. I'll give that to you. All right. Let's round this thing off. Weekly predictions. This is something we'll do every week from here to the end of the season. Hopefully, sometimes we get mixed up with midweek games. We'll have to work that out. The way it works is very simple. I read out the matchup. Connor goes, I go. Next matchup. Connor goes, I go. No thinking about it. We've already written them down. We're just going to go for it. And then we'll post it right before the week starts. It'll be exciting. You ready?
Yep.
Houston, San Jose.
2-1 Houston.
I have 1-1 tie. Seattle, Minnesota.
2-0 Seattle.
I have 3-1 Seattle. Montreal, Toronto.
1-1.
I got 3-2 Toronto. Orlando versus Atlanta.
3-1 Orlando.
I have 2-1 Orlando. LAFC versus Austin.
3-1 LAFC.
I got 2-1 LAFC. I think it'll be closer than that. DC versus New York City.
1-0 DC.
Nice. Copy me again. 1-0 DC. Love that. Dallas versus Colorado.
2-1 Colorado.
I got 1-1 there. Red Bull versus SKC.
3-0 SKC.
I got 3-1. I feel like we're getting an goal in there somewhere. Chicago, New England.
2-2.
2-1 New England. Don't be dumb. Nashville, Cincy.
2-2.
1-1. Miami, LA.
2-2.
You're a loser. 1-0 Miami. Columbus, Philly.
2-0 Columbus.
2-2.
Oh, copying me, huh?
Yeah. Vancouver, Portland. Round it off.
3-2 Portland.
3-2. I got 2-1. All right. That's it. Erase it. Done. Way too long. We took way too long on that. We're going to have a lot of editing to do. However, that's it. That is previews, predictions, the works for season 2, episode 7. We hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for making it this far. If you have, make sure you go check us out on all forms of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Yeah, that's 5. Just search the Designated Players Podcast. I'm sure we'll come up at some point. Anywhere you get your podcast, make sure you subscribe to us and leave us a little rating or a comment. Let us know how you think we're doing. Share our clips so you can ruin our lives. I don't know. I was going through work, just looking through my phone, like, man, this is demoralizing. Somebody told me at work today, they're like, man, you look like you got run over by a train today. You all right? I'm like, I think I'm okay. And I think realistically, it was just that I was just getting all these hate messages. I was like, oh man, podcast life.
Yeah, you got run over by the Minnesota hype train.
Minnesota hype train. They took the conductor, threw him on the tracks, and ran
him over. Yeah.
I love that. That's a really good analogy. I like that. Yeah. Other than that, make sure you tweet us, Adam, you idiot, hashtag QOTW, so that you can. I don't know. Are we doing this giveaway? Nobody's doing this, so we're just gonna keep telling you to do it. And other than that, you got anything else to say?
Nope.
All right. 2 days away. From this point on, we got 2 days away for listening to it the day it comes out. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
I'm excited
MLS
too.
is back. I can feel it through my fingers. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening if you made it this far. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players Podcast. See ya.